Girl, you cannot do it all. Today we are talking about changing the mindset of hustle culture to grounded optimism. I know that we all like to say, or you hear a lot of women say, making themselves feel like that they are getting to the bag by saying, I am booked and I am busy. You are booked and you are busy. But what is suffering in place of being booked and busy? Because you cannot do everything all at once. I'm not saying that you can't have everything, because you can, and you most certainly deserve that if that's what you want. I used to be a hustler. Okay? I would hustle all the time, putting in 12, 14-hour days. But then I had to realize that something had to give, because there were so many other things in my life that was depleted, that was suffering, or non-existent. So getting to the bag is one thing, but then when you get to the bag and you don't have nobody to share it with because your marriage, your relationship then fell apart, your kids feel neglected because you never see them, or one day you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize the person who's looking back at you. I know this society tells us, especially us as black women, that you gotta go, 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 go. You gotta grind, 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 grind. You gotta work harder than everybody else to get half of what others are given. I heard that, sick of subscribing to that bullshit. Okay? Because what they didn't tell you is at the end of that go, 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 go and working harder than everybody else, is you end up with poor health. Most of the time your relationships done suffered, or your marriage done broke up, you divorced. Your children, have grown up without you, or without a proper hand in their lives, because you was always at work. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that is what some of us have to do to survive. I know that is what has been indoctrinated in us and what we have been taught. But, however, I'm speaking to you from the present time. The universe has shifted. And it's time for you to shift your mindset to align with where we are now. You can still build your business. You can still be married or be in a relationship. You can still mother your children properly, and you can still have a relationship with yourself. But what you have to firstly do is to realize that it's not about doing more over here than it is over there. You have to equally, or as equally as possible, nurture each aspect of your life. Sure, you're going to still fall short. I had mother guilt for a lot of years. I would have to have family members take pictures of my daughter because it was moments that I knew that I was going to miss out on. However, at this time in my life, if I had known back then what I know now, I would have been better able to manage that, so that I could have been more present rather than just chasing a bag. So what I firstly had to do, what you firstly have to do, is end the fake hustle. Like I said, that booked and busy shit is just something that sounds good. But when you booked and busy at work for 12 hours a day, your husband is not getting the attention and affection that is required to keep your relationship solid, nor is your child, nor are you. There are more important things than getting to the bag. Secondly, you have to check your frequency regularly. You have to tap in with yourself and see how you are feeling. Not what you're thinking and not what has been programmed in you to think or feel, but what you truly feel. There is a freeing power in adapting the new mentality of grounded optimism. Grounded optimism isn't about hope out of desperation, desperate to run so many hours and make so much amount of money that you never fall behind. Whether it's having unshakable conviction that the bag is yours. What's meant for you is meant for you, and nobody and nothing can keep you from that. Stop checking the scoreboard. You don't have to do and keep up with everybody else because that's what they're doing, or that's what they told you to do, or that's what their method to success is. Stop checking the scoreboard and start owning the court. Remove the static from your station. All of these people, all of these blogs, all of these magazines you read, all of these podcasts on success and money and all of that. You don't need to listen to 30 different people on the same subject. Everybody has a success story. I love to listen to good success stories. However, in the midst of building my own brand, I had to tune a lot of that out. Because a lot of times you start hearing other people's walks in life and you start getting swayed off your path because you have so much noise going on that you're not listening to the answers that are being given to you. You can't follow your own guide because you're too busy listening to all of this static around you. Just because something worked for someone else doesn't necessarily mean that is the route you need to take. Doesn't mean it fits your blueprint. Stop giving into FOMO, the fear of missing out, and give more into JOMO, the joy of missing out. The joy of missing out on taking the wrong route. The joy of missing out on working so much that now that you're sick and you got to take off work and everything's falling apart. The joy of missing out on your relationships falling apart. The joy of missing out on watching your son at a game rather than being in a meeting. The joy of missing out on having a relationship with yourself and taking enough time to stop and look what you have already done. Have gratitude and appreciation for yourself and your abilities in that. Respect the vessel. We grind, we go, we do so much, we're trying to do everything, we're pulling ourselves in so many different directions that a lot of us ignore or put on the back burner our own body. You have to take accountability for taking care of yourself and putting yourself first. Now you make time to take the car to get detailed and get its oil changed. But are you making all of your doctor's appointments? As women, we should have several a year, not just once a checkup. We should be getting, after a certain age, we should be getting mammograms. We should definitely be getting pap smears and all of those important clinical things to stay ahead of situations. You know, staying ready so you ain't gotta get ready. We need to nurture and take care of not just our body, but our minds too. You need to eat like a boss. Eat well. Not constantly eating on the go, running out, grabbing this because it's close to the office, sticking this in the microwave several times a week because, you're pressed for time. You should be eating well, feeding things, putting things in your body that feeds your mind, body, and soul. You should be sleeping like a queen. I have a video about the benefits of rest. A lot of us don't prioritize rest like we should. We need to refuel. When you fill up the car with gas, you need to remind yourself to refuel yourself with rest. And also refill your cup, your spiritual cup that becomes depleted in all of the things that you're giving to everybody else throughout the day. Take a little time and refuel yourself. And definitely getting exercise. Not exercising when it's convenient, but prioritizing exercise. Exercise is important for reducing stress. It helps get the heart rate up. It builds endorphins, something that comes from within you that makes you feel great. Why would you cheat yourself from that? It doesn't have to be a strenuous workout. You don't have to go and join a gym or none of that stuff. It's plenty of free workouts right here on YouTube. Look one up and schedule it in. If it ain't nothing but once a week, start there. But start to get in exercise. And most importantly, discipline yourself to schedule in, if you have to, schedule in these things and make them a priority for yourself. Discipline is the root of mental optimism. Number 5, learn the power of the pivot. Now, you may have a plan. You know, when you go into business, they tell you to write out your business plan. A lot of times, your first initial 2 business plans that you done wrote out, you have to pivot from those because things don't go as planned. You know, or you've heard the saying, we make plans, God laughs. The power of the pivot. Most success stories, those success stories that I was talking about earlier, most of those success stories have many times where they have had to pivot. I can speak from experience. I planned out my brand one way and life happened. Finances didn't happen or needed to be put somewhere else and prioritized somewhere else. So you have to pivot. Just because things aren't going the way that you planned doesn't mean they're not working out. There is power in the pivot because sometimes the pivot works out better than the initial plan. There is freedom in knowing that even if you hit a wall, guess what? You still own a hammer. You still own a hammer. You know, you didn't have no plan to have that wall in your way. But you can still knock it down and go through it, go over it, go around it, go under it. Knowing that you have the ability to pivot inspires worth in you because you know that you are worthy, that you have the determination and the fortitude to prevail because you have the ability to adapt. Stop surviving and start conquering by firstly changing your mindset. Change your mindset. You no longer have to go through life according to how our parents did it, according to how society told you, according to how even things was done 5 years ago. Things have shifted, things have changed. Start to look into other ways where you can incorporate all of this good technology to assist you, where you can take some of the weight off of you. Maybe asking for help within your own household to take some of the household duties or the children's activities away from you, where you can balance that more so you have more time to be home, possibly help with homework and cook. There are things you can do. You can pivot in every aspect of your life. The first thing you have to do is know that you're worthy and that you no longer have to cling to the survival mindset. Change your mindset from hustling to grounded optimism, and watch not only your time free up, but watch your spirit become a lot lighter and freer. And when you're happy, everything around you begins to gravitate towards positivity. While you chewing on this, like, subscribe, and share, and get some more food for the soul on this channel. But in the meantime, stay glitz.